Hi, my name is Sarah Pearson. I'm one of the state co-chairs of Women's March Wisconsin. Thanks for having me here today. I often get asked the question as the leader of a women's group, why is gun violence a women's issue? Why is this something that you're talking about? We have a phrase or a motto that we constantly say in Women's March, no one is safe unless everyone is safe. And that's sort of at the heart of what we do, intersectionality, that our liberation is bound in each other. And something that I also say a lot in Women's March, in the movement we always talk about safe spaces, and I feel like for survivors of gun violence it's really hard to ever say a space is safe for us, right? So instead I like to refer to it as a brave space. I feel like that's where those of us who are survivors, that's where we are today. We're in a brave space. So I want to do something that I don't do a lot and tell you a personal story of my experience with gun violence. When I was 10 years old, I met one of my best friends. We met at a pool party in my friend's backyard, and it was really cool because everyone wants to go to the person's house who has a pool. And I was kind of a weird kid at the time. I had just, my parents, because they're my parents, wanted to challenge me in school, so they decided that I needed to be homeschooled. So I didn't have a lot of friends, and I met another girl who was new to our friend group. She had just moved from Chicago, so we hit it off instantly. And I feel like, you know, when you meet somebody and they say, and you just feel like, I know we're going to be friends for a long time, that's what she was to me. We talked about a lot of the things that nerdy 10-year-old girls talk about, like the history of astronomy across various ancient civilizations, and being a political nerd always, the 2000 election and the musical Les Mis. And those were always kinds of things that it's a way that we connected and we continued to connect. And I remember when we were going to sleep that night, she said that her ear hurt and she was crying, and she asked her mom to come pick her up. And what I didn't know at the time is that she was part of a group that I would later become a part of, survivors of sexual assault. And I didn't find out until later when I was in high school, but we stayed close throughout. She was a really driven person. I remember going into her room in high school and seeing a calendar on her door that said, like, read 50 pages of War and Peace, then do 20 push-ups, and then 20 sit-ups, and then 10 pull-ups. That was just kind of the way that she was. She's a National Honors student. And I wish that we could talk about some of the things that I talk about today, or I wish that I knew what she was doing, but her life was cut short. So about 3 years ago, I was at work and I saw that my mom was calling me, and my mom never calls me without texting first. So I went into my office and I closed the door, and I remember her saying, Sarah, like, I have to tell you something. And I knew she was upset, and she said, Nicole's dead. I don't know what happened, but there was a gun involved, and she's gone. And that day changed my life forever. It just seems senseless that somebody with as much potential as her, with as much drive, lost her life so young. That was 3 years ago. We were both 25 when it happened. So I'm here today because this is a brave space, and we need to share our stories, and it's unfortunate in this movement that it's often our grief and our trauma and our fear that's moving it forward. But I appreciate the bravery of the people who've come out to share their experiences with gun violence, because it's true. No one is safe unless everyone is safe, and it's our job to ensure that we're safe, and that's why we need to put an end to gun violence for once and for all. Thank you.